I just confirmed the dates. It's going to be July the 23rd. That evening, the basic recruits that are enrolled will come to the gates at the MCLB, or Marine Corps Logistics Base, Barstow, and they will depart from their families and proceed up to the quarters and the intake area. That begins their basic recruit training. They also learn when they come aboard the things that they need to know, and I'm just going to give you an overview. The United States Marine Corps has a particular chain of command. They come from the commandant all the way down to the lowly recruit that is attending basic recruit training, or I should say boot camp, in Parris Island or in MCRD San Diego. That chain of command is very similar to what the the Young Marine program is all about. We have a similar chain of command. It starts out at the national headquarters in Washington, D.C. Then the next chain of command is our division. We're in the 6th Division, and the commander is located in Portland, Oregon. And then below the division level is the regimental level. We're in the California Regiment. Commander is Jack Clausen. And then we have the battalion level, which we're the 2nd Battalion, and our battalion commander's name is Oswaldo Serafin, and he is located in Palmdale. And then we, the unit, and in the unit, we even have a chain of command, just like the Marine Corps. We have the unit commander, Mr. Velasquez, myself, the executive officer, and then we have all the unit staff, the adjutant, paymaster, supply officer, etc., training officer. Then it goes all the way down to the squad and all the way down to the private. So just like the Marine Corps, we hold that very same chain of command. Each young Marine must know that chain of command from the day they arrive till the day they leave. But for our purposes, it's to ensure that the integrity of our command and communication. The activities that we have for our young Marines are varied and sometimes outlandish. As an example, and I'm going to use only one example, there was a young lady who helped us out last year. Her name was Beth Abza. Beth came to the Young Marine program about 6 years ago today, but it was 5 years ago that she joined when I met her last year. Beth started out as a basic recruit, just like everyone else, and worked her way up. Within 5 years, she became a sergeant major of the Young Marine unit she was attached to, which was the South Grand Young Marines. That young lady was only 16 and a half years old when she put on her sergeant major stripes. She was then asked to become the California Regimental Sergeant Major, and then competed for the actual award of the Sergeant Major of the Year. She didn't make it. She was in a group of about 8, but she at least contended and competed. There's also an issue about what do you do after Sergeant Major? Well, some of the Sergeant Majors go to the United Nations, and they address certain conferences, the Women's Conference especially, and the Children's Conference in New York. They speak to those groups about youth programs and what is happening across the country. That's kind of like the pinnacle or the top of the ladder. Most of our young Marines reach 17, 18 years of age. By that time, they're sergeants, staff sergeants, and gunnery sergeants. So they actually build on top of what they learn in basic recruit training and try for those top stripes. But the top stripes are only held for a period of 6 months. They're called billets. They're an assignment that they get, and they're only allowed to be there for 6 months so that the next young Marine coming up has an opportunity to be the top dog. Each of our units are exactly alike. If you went down to Southland Young Marines in Pomona, or you went to the East Valley Young Marines in Redlands, or you went to the Vipers in 29 Palms, or to Antelope Valley, to their group, you'll find the same structure, the same chain of command, and the same types of people there. None of our registered adults, and including myself, receive any payment for what we do. We're strictly volunteers. So today, instead of playing golf or bowling, we're here with the young people to help them develop their lives. In fact, one of the signs that we posted out here gives us our motto. Our motto in the Young Marines is to strengthen the life of America's youth. And that's our main focus as registered adult leaders. In addition to that, they also get to, when they're eligible, they are allowed to go to different kinds of training. For instance, within a matter of about 2.5 weeks, maybe a little more, 3 weeks, we're going to send a small group of our young Marines who have attained the rank of Lance Corporal and are vying for the Corporal stripes. They're going down to Camp Cumberland for a week stay. They will learn leadership. They will learn all the communication skills, public speaking and so forth, as well as close order drill, and some main subjects that they have to learn. When they're done, they'll come back and they'll actually put those to immediate use within the unit in leading our young Marines. If after that they desire to go up to sergeant, they have to go to senior leadership school down in Camp Cumberland another week, and that's maybe a year later or more. Depends on how fast they want to go. Once they get through senior leadership school, that qualifies them to be sergeant. They go up for sergeant, staff sergeant, all the way up the line. It's up to the individual to decide on how fast they want to get up the ranks or how slow they want to get up to the ranks. We do not indicate whether or not you're male or female, and therefore you get a different kind of venue. Everyone goes the same route, same effort. Each month during our drills, we hold promotion boards, so any young Marine who desires to go up the rank must present themselves to the promotion board with all of the qualifiers. And then they are subjected to questioning and evaluation and determination whether or not they should get the next rank. The next thing that we do, during the summer vacations, as we all know, everyone goes to camp in the summer vacation period. In the Young Marine program, they have a national program, then they have a regimental program, and lastly, we have the unit program. Now, let me go with the national first. Right now, the national program has a national, it costs each young Marine that goes there $200 out of pocket to get there, plus their transportation. They stay for a week, and they meet young Marines from all over the world. Oh, I didn't mention that. Not only are we national, but we're international. We have young Marine units in Germany and on Okinawa, as well as Hawaii, which is not a country. But they are in various locations throughout the world. In addition to that, if you're a young Marine, to become one, desires to go a certain way, let's just say that they have a penchant for being an astronaut. We have a program that sends that young Marine, once they're eligible, to a program down in Alabama that trains them to become an astronaut. We also have the young Marine who likes horses, likes to climb off and on mountains, likes to get dirty, not eat for a week, chew on bark, that kind of mountaineering skills. They go to the Colorado camp for a week, of course, when they're eligible. And they learn rappelling. They learn all the mountaineering skills that they need to become a mountaineering skilled young Marine. And then they teach it to their young Marine. Lastly, if the young Marine doesn't like to go in mountains or doesn't want to be an astronaut, maybe they're an oceanographer type person. Maybe they like the ocean. We even have a scuba diving skill training class that they go to. Oddly enough, it's called oceanography, and they learn the skills from experts in the oceanography field. Those are just some of the things that they do. The unit itself has encampments locally and sometimes beyond our general range. For instance, we may go up to Big Bear. There's an encampment that we go to normally in the Labor Day weekend. They go up there for 3 days, and the camp is called Camp Morningstar. It's right down the block from Big Bear. They go up there. They learn mountain climbing. They have to qualify in their swimming skills. They also do a lot of hiking and a lot of other things that they enjoy doing together as a group. I sent the first group up last year, not knowing what to expect, but knowing that the young Marines I sent were well respected of each other, and they certainly were representatives of our unit. During their stay up there at Camp Morningstar, unbeknownst to me and others, the young Marines that attended had to do a skit. Now, all of us remember back in the days when we were kids, they had to do a skit. So let's surprise them. They didn't know what to do. So some of the young Marine units put on whatever they thought was right for entertainment, and some of them declined. But our unit went up there, and I had a young Marine by the name of young Marine Hendrickson. She got the group together. They decided on what they were going to do. Let me give you just a quick scenario, a snapshot of what they did. She lined them all up in formation, in close order drill fashion, marched them up on the stage, had them in 2 ranks. They all faced the audience, just as I'm facing you now, stood at attention, and then when she gave the command, they put their hands on their hips, as I'm doing now, and they sang, I'm a teapot, short, that was skit. Wonderful thinking, out of the box, entertained everybody. But young Marine Hendrickson thought of her leadership qualities that she was trained to do. Young Marine Bolger was up there, and others, and they confirm what I'm saying. They had a good time. They do not have to have tents up there. They have coaches, little cabins that they stay in. That's not the only one. We also go, this coming year, we're going to be introducing seasonal camping in the snow as well as in the desert and so forth. So we're going to be doing a lot more in our activity schedule as well as the drill. As I mentioned earlier about ADR, one of the things a young Marine must do, they must acquire certain hours each quarter. They have to do so many hours in order to receive the ADR drug demand reduction ribbon that they wear. Each young Marine must undergo that classroom-style setting, but as they progress up their ranks, they also have to produce that to their school or to their community. They have to present drug demand reduction presentation as part of their rank structure and as they get up there as leaders. So they have to do that from time to time. It teaches them how to speak in public as well as to put the program that is focused on in their minds and within the sphere of young people. One of the other things that we do in the Young Marine program, call it what you will, it's still called physical fitness. Now somebody made just a comedic remark earlier. I had dropped my cover on the deck unknowingly, and somebody yelled out, give me 15. That's what we do in the Young Marines too. Physical fitness is our main focus on each and every individual. They must be able to attain a certain score, which includes push-ups, pull-ups, sit-ups, running, etc. They have to reach a minimum score or above. But in order to attend a school or get a rank or start to move up in the ranks, they must have a higher score. So we keep pushing it until they attain that level. Of course, this is not to mean that all are going to be equal in physical stature, so we do accommodate for those who are disabled or have disabled needs. How many of you are 8 to 10 years old? Just raise your hand. 8 to 10. Okay, that's a group that would be separate apart. They would only have to do a half a mile, thank you, only a half mile run. We do the mile actually is right outside here on the roads, and we have our training officers and his assistants to accommodate that.